By nightfall this day, they hoped to reach Clitheroe, as Ma thought it was within 10 miles now. There, they planned to beg some shelter and food, as the last of the bread and preserves that Ma had packed for their trip had run out the night before. Hunger and cold slowed their progress. Ruth's more than that of the others, as her affliction, already a hindrance to her, worsened with the effort of walking such a long distance. Looking up, she saw that her Ma was 300 yards ahead of her. Behind her Ma trailed her sister, Amy. Her curly hair frizzed even more than usual by the way the wind had played with it. Amy hated it, and thought Ruth lucky to have long, dark hair. Amy's wouldn't grow long. It became too tangled, and Ma had to cut it. It reminded Ruth of a bowl of soap suds all bubbled up, and though Amy wouldn't have it, it set off her pretty face and huge dark eyes. At 15 years of age, Amy was younger than Ruth by 3 years. No one would take her and Amy for sisters if they didn't know them to be. There was nothing about them that resembled the other. Amy held the hand of 4-year-old Elsie, a delicate child who was slow to learn new skills. Seth, 14 and a bit, and 10 months younger than Amy, and George, just 9 months younger than Seth, were up in front. Seth pushed the pram which had carried them all as bairns, and which was still needed for Elsie as she tired easily. 2 handsome lads, Seth and George, looked very much alike, and had the same appearance as Ruth, with their dark complexions, black hair, and shining blue eyes. They were different in character, though. Seth had a gentle nature and preferred to reason problems out rather than argue his point. He tended to be shy and rarely put himself forward. George, though quick to lose his temper with people, had a wonderful way with animals. In contrast to his short fuse, he also had a good sense of humour, and at times was so funny with his antics that he'd have you wetting yourself. The 5 of them were the only survivors of the 10 children Ma had birthed. One of these children, and 2 miscarriages, accounted for the gap in age between Ruth and her first 3 siblings. Twin boys and another 2 girls had died between George's birth and Elsie's. Ruth had helped at the delivery of all of them, from Amy down, and still felt the pain of their loss. "Bye, lass, I can't go on without you. The howl of the wind took away Ma's words as she stepped off the grass verge to walk back towards Ruth. Ruth opened her mouth to urge her Ma to go on once more, but fear changed what she was about to say. "Ma? Look out, Ma!" The coach had come from nowhere. The horses reared. Ma cowered. Her body fell to the ground. The hooves of the startled animals pounded down on her. The screams of terrified children and the whinnying of the stallions filled the space around Ruth. Her own scream strangled in her throat. Horror held her as if she'd been turned to stone. But then desperation moved her body and urged her forward. "Ma? No, Ma." All around her went into slow motion, and it seemed she had to claw her way through invisible barriers as she tried to hasten. When at last she neared them, the horses swayed. Their hooves lost their grip on the muddied road, and the carriage went onto its left wheel, before banging down onto its right. The violent motion catapulted the driver from his seat and over the cliff. His horror held the knowledge of his own imminent death. The carriage didn't right itself, and the crashing and splintering of its wooden structure drowned out the sound of the desperate driver. A face appeared at the window of what was left of the carriage, a lad, his hair curled tightly to his head, his eyes holding a look of terror. Mud splattered Ruth as one of the horses tried to keep its grip, but the animal lost the battle and slid over the edge, pulling the coach almost upside down. The face disappeared. The 3 horses remaining on sturdy ground reared against the weight of the one dangling below. Steam rushed from their nostrils. The whites of their eyes glared their own terror and compounded Ruth's horror. Finding her voice, she shouted orders. "Amy, come and help me. Seth, George, get Ma away."